And we are back for more baseball at Legacy Fields. And this is an important game for both sides between the Midwest Rockets and the Porter County Storm. The Rockets will be the away team for this one, so they get their first ups today. And then the Porter County Storm will be the home team. And the reason why it's an important game is whoever wins this will get third place in Pool B National, as both teams are 0-2 heading into this game. So whoever wins would finish 1-2, and we will finish behind Eau Claire and Hammond, as Eau Claire and Hammond will be starting at 3:30 on the west field. As you see the scoreboard up and the pitch count up, and there's no score just yet. So as this game continues, we will update you, because whoever wins that game will get the first seed and win Pool B. As this is the second game on our telecast of Babe Ruth Ohio Valley Baseball. And for the Rockets, their story has just been not being able to close out the games. They opened up the tournament on Thursday against the Hammond Hurricanes and were down. They were winning 5-3 going into the bottom of the ninth as they headed into extras, and it looked as though they were going to win the game, but then 4 straight walks allowed the Hurricanes to tie it. And then the Hurricanes finally got their first hit, a ground ball between short and third in the left to give them the win and start off 1-0. And it was the same story again for the Rockets against Eau Claire. They were up 5-2 going into the bottom of the 7th inning and allowed 3 runs to score. And then Eau Claire would win it on a walk-off in the bottom of the 8th inning. But I talked to Steve Schmidt, the manager of the team, as you saw him go in your camera. He's coaching third base. I asked him, I said, how big was it for you to have that rain cancellation yesterday due to all the pitching you had? And he said, it was big because it gave me way more options, because even if there is a rain out, that still counts as a day. It's not day of games, it's just a day. So he's been able to turn to his star pitcher, Ethan Dunsing, who will pitch against the Storm. On the mound for the Storm is Hayden Hickson. His first pitch is fouled off to the left. And that's how we started off, with this game starting at 3:43. So we're not terribly off schedule, just like 13 minutes due to all the delays we had in the previous game between Elmhurst and the Dirtbags. Here's the 0-1, and that's a swing and a miss from Joseph Green, and it's now 0-2. The outfield for the Storm is Logan Ritchie, Alex Contreras, and Keegan Cowgill going from left to right. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that was a curveball that didn't curve. It's now 1-2. On the infield, it's Ethan Cushway, Gavin Caletha, Brady O'Malley, Colton Strope, and Jeff Hazel will be behind the plate. Now 2-2 to Green, leading off for the Rockets today, as this team's offense has been good. Again, it's just really been the inability to close out ball games, and that's a pretty important ability to have. This one's sent out to right field. Calgo going back. He's going to the track. He's just let it bounce off the wall. Green's got some good speed. He's at second. He's rounding second. He's heading for third. The relay throw will not get him. It's a stand-up lead-off triple for the Rockets, and they are on their way to being the first team to score a run. What a poke by Joseph Green. He crushed it, sent it a long way, and it hit off a pole out there and went away from the right fielder Cowgill to Alex Contreras in center, who picked it up and fired it in. And the Midwest Rockets have a runner on third for Noah Kneifel. As there's now a talk between the umpires, and they're looking at the baseball. I wonder if maybe the baseball now has a cut in it after it hit the pole in right field and rolled away. And if it gets a scuff, you usually don't want to use that baseball, because that can be hindering the power of the hitters and could also give some more cut to the pitches. So the talk is over. The pitcher, Hickson, still has the baseball, but he has a runner on third base with no outs to start off the game. Rest of the lineup for the Rockets after Green and Kneifel is Tucker Patrick, Jesse Rude, Childrub, Huber, Walsmith, Martin, Orsag, and Rogelio Cornejo. 0-1 to Kneifel, and it was a strike from Hickson. Hickson set. He wastes no time. And there's a swing and a miss. Now 0-2. As we mentioned, the Storm are 0-2. They lost this morning's game to Eau Claire by a final score of 7-0. So they lost by a touchdown and an extra point. And a strikeout. That's a good bounce back by Hayden Hickson. After allowing the leadoff triple, he strikes out the hitter on 3 pitches.
First baseman, Tucker Patrick.
And now here's an interesting story. Tucker Patrick will bat. And if you listen to the game that we did 2 days ago, Patrick wasn't in the lineup because he was out, because he was sick. And now he's been able to return, and he lifts one high in the air to right field. This should be playable for Calgill. Get ready for Green to come in from third. He's going to come in. It was hit plenty deep enough as it dropped in for a double for Tucker Patrick. It looked like it was a routine fly ball for Calgill, but he couldn't make the play. It's now 1-0 for the Rockets.
Number 11, the extra hitter, Jesse Rhoda.
Jesse Rhoda steps up to the plate after the double from Patrick that allowed the Rockets to get the lead. And it's the story for the Rockets is getting the lead, but also maintaining it. We'll see how the rest of this game goes. But how many runs are they going to be able to score early on the Storm? As Hickson thought he had an out there, right through the Calgill could not secure it. 1-0 before the Storm can even get to the plate. And here's the pitch, and that's up 1-0. And for the Storm, their other loss was just a close one of 5-3 to the Hurricanes. So that must have been a meteorologist's dream game, Hurricanes and Storm. Line drive in the center. That's a base hit. Tucker Patrick not fast. He's going to get held up at third by manager Steve Schmidt as Rhoda picks up a hit. He sent a fastball back where it came from and has moved Tucker to third. So Steve Schmidt's got to be happy with runners on the corners when 1 out. As Spencer Childress is the new batter. He's a left-handed hitter. And he has an opportunity to tack on another run for the Rockets. It's Spencer Childress. Here's the offering. Runner on the move. They're going to throw down the second. I wasn't sure what had just happened as you heard the question mark at the end of that. As the catcher, Hazel, looked like he was going to throw to third. His momentum was carrying him that way, and then he threw it to second. And it wasn't the best throw because, again, his momentum was going one way, his arm the other. Inside 1-0 to Childress. I believe the count is 2-0 to Childress. Here's the pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. He swung at a fastball that was right down the middle for 2-1. Just pulled off of it. Count is 2-1. Can't confirm from the home plate umpire. 2 runners in scoring position for the Rockets, trying to make their way to a third-place finish. Ground ball to short. Diving is the shortstop, Kalitha, who goes to first, and he pulls off the first baseman. Now go down as an infield single as he made everything look great except for the throw. And that'll be another run for the Rockets.
The shortstop, Anthony Huber.
Patrick's the one that crosses the plate on the play. Childress picks up an RBI. It's 2-0. Anthony Huber now up. Runner on the move. Is a breaking ball for a strike. Throw down the second. Is not in time. A runner coming in from home. And that's going to be another stolen base for Jesse Rhoda. And it's 3-0 for Midwest. The good old double steal. Takes second and steal home plate. Not too many times where you can say you've stolen home. And there's another run. It's 3-0. Curveball is popped up on the infield to third base. It's going to be a tough play for Cushway. Cushway throws to first, and there's no play. Another single. The throw to third is not in time. And it's been a great inning to start off the day for the Rockets. Even the ones that aren't hit particularly hard have turned into hits.
At the plate, number 16, second baseman, Peter Walsh.
As Huber was jammed popped it up on the infield. Cushway barehanded it, threw it, and there's no play. Colton Strope, who's patrolling first base today, really had nothing there as Huber had already made his way down the line. Huber's going to steal second. The ball hits off the backstop. And unfortunately for the Rockets, Childrep didn't see the ball get past the catcher, Hazel. But the count is 1-0, 3-0 for the Rockets before the Storm have a chance to bat. And that's what Steve Schmidt said going into the game. He wanted to control it early and control it for the duration of the game and not give away free runs. That's what they've been doing in their first two games, and that's why they're 0-2, but their run differential is slim. It's just -2, which 2 one-run games. When you lose by walk-offs, it's only 1 run. The 2-0. And that's a strike. The curve ball hits the outside corner, and it's 2-1 from Hayden Hickson, who has now allowed 4 straight hits and 5 hits in this inning. And there's another strike. He goes to the fastball. It's a even count of 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position. There's still a free base for the Rockets, but for the Storm, they need to get some outs here and try to get their bats up to the plate. The 2-2 is hit back to Hickson, who does a great job looking back the runner at third base, and they completing the play when it was even close to get Peter Walsmith. And there's the second out.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 23, Skylar Martin.
That breaks a string of hits for the Rockets, 4 in a row. And Skylar Martin, he has an opportunity to give his team a 5-run cushion before Ethan Dunsing can even take the mound. 1-0 after the high curveball. Dunsing is in his first base dugout, fully warmed up, and has to be the happiest person in the ballpark to see his team giving him a 3-run lead. There's a cut and a miss, 1-1 to Martin now. Martin is the 8th hitter, and there's 2 more hitters left in the lineup that haven't gotten a plate appearance yet. Jason Orsag and Rogelio Cornejo. And the 1-2 count now after the swing and a miss from Martin. He swung over a changeup. It's not Hickson's complete fault. It was the misplay out in right field by Cowgill and the high fly ball from Patrick. The 1-2, and it's a little bit low. A good take from Martin. And it's 2-2. Rockets wearing the white jerseys with the black sleeves and the black letters. The Storm with the black jerseys and the white accents. Line drive, left field. That's a hit. Are they going to send them? They are. He's getting the wave around from Schmidt, and that will score. It's 5-0 Rockets. A clutch hit from Skylar Martin to send home Childrep and Huber.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 4.
And there's 2 RBIs for Martin. This is the start the Rockets have been looking for. They're trying to sneak their way into the tournament play and get their way to a possible Ohio Valley Regional Championship. They have some ways to go, but they are up 5-0. Bunt by Orsag, picked up by Hickson, who throws the first, and he gets some for the 3rd out. But it was a great inning for the Rockets. They take a 5-0 lead going into the bottom of the 1st inning. As you're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. home half of the first. It's going to be the Porter County Storm coming up to the plate with this lineup this evening. Lead off is Gavin Caletha. Hayden Hickson, the pitcher, will bat second. Colton Strupp batting third. Contreras will bat cleanup, play center field. Logan Ritchie in the 5-hole in left field. Keegan Cowgill bats sixth out and right. Then rounding out the lineup for the Storm is Brady O'Malley, Jeff Hazel, and Ethan Cushway. The defensive alignment for the Rockets is Jason Orsag, Joseph Green, and Skylar Martin patrolling the Meadows, going from left to right. And then in the infield, it's Noah Kneifel, Anthony Huber, Peter Wolsmith, and Tucker Patrick going from left to right. And there's a strike to Calethal. And then Rogelio Cornejo is the battery mate of Ethan Dunsing, who is doing the pitching for the Rockets, trying to get his team to the tournament play. And there's a foul ball, 0-2. But his team had given them a 5-run lead after getting 6 hits, no errors, and left 1 man on base as they set up 9 hitters of the 10 that are in the lineup due to the extra hitter rule that is implemented in Babe Ruth. Caletha is behind 0-2, and he takes ball 1. A good curveball there from Dunsing that stayed up and in. We'll do 1-2 now. But for the Storm, the old saying goes, if you want to go down early so you have time to come back and at least try to tie the game. And that is a strikeout to start the day for the Storm at the plate. And Ethan Dunsing picks up his first strikeout of the game on his first hitter. Didn't waste no time to get it. He'll now face his counterpart, Hayden Hickson. Hickson wearing a gold helmet. It really stands out. Reminds me of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish helmets they always elect to use, which is all gold. Dunsing delivers the first pitch, and he throws it down low for ball 1. Full tournament on the ledger today. It's 2-0 on the West Field. So leading that is Eau Claire against Hammond, as up 2-0. As all 4 teams currently in action on the East and the West are Pool B teams, as Eau Claire and Hammond are playing for the number 1 seed. Whoever loses will get number 2. The pitch, and called strike 1. It looked like a slider that hit the outside corner. It's 2-1. And then for this, it's deciding who's going to get third and then who will get fourth. Third moves on. Fourth is officially done from the tournament. So a do-or-die game. Pop up right side. This looks like it could be playable for Tucker Patrick, who goes a long way, and he cannot make the play. It stayed in the park, but fell in between 3 Rockets players, Patrick, Walsmith, and Martin, and that is strike 2, a long strike. There's 1 out, and 5-0 for Midwest. Two Indiana-based teams. The Rockets based out of Crown Point. The Storm, obviously, is Porter County, so mixture of Chesterton and Valpo and other Porter County towns, just not too far from here. It is 3-2, as Porter County is the county over from Lake County, which we're sitting in right now, given that the Summer Collegiate team is the Lake County Corn Dogs. 3-2, 1 out, payoff pitch. And it's low for ball 4. Hickson works a walk. He'll now be over at first base for Colton Strope.
Now batting the first baseman, number 44, Colton Strope.
Do have to say I respect the number choice of Colton Strope, number 44. Making me reminisce of Hank Aaron, who were number 44 in his time with the Milwaukee Braves and the Milwaukee Brewers. As he actually did play on the first Atlanta Braves team before he got traded back to Milwaukee after the Seattle Pilots moved to Milwaukee and changed their name to the Brewers. The first pitch to Strope in this at-bat is a strike to make it no balls and 1 strike. Yes, I did say the Seattle Pilots. The Pilots were just a 1-year team. They played 1 year in Seattle before they moved. And it wouldn't be until later where an expansion team called the Mariners would then take place in Seattle, where they are currently riding a 12-game winning streak. which is exciting, to say the least, for a team that hasn't made the playoffs since early 2000s. The throw down the second base is in plenty of time. They got him. Hickson did not get a great jump, and Cornejo made him pay and just threw him out. An absolute gun from behind the plate. And it was all elementary for Anthony Huber, who caught the ball, and he had plenty of time to get the glove down, protect second base, and tag out Hickson. So there's now 2 outs and no one on for Strop. Strop takes one upstairs and a little inside to make it 2-1. But the Mariners have been fun to watch. Their pitching staff has been phenomenal. They signed Robbie Ray this last offseason. Julio Rodriguez, if you love exciting baseball, check him out. He's going to be in the Home Run Derby on Monday. The pitch is not going to count because it was a time called. So the count still remains 2-1 to Strop. As Rodriguez plays a great center field, he hits for a lot of power from the right side. Reminds me of Griffey. Griffey hit for a lot of power and patrolled center field a lot like Rodriguez did. And that's called strike 2. Curveball clipped the top of the zone, and it's an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Score is 5-0 in favor of Midwest. Dunsing looking for his second strikeout and end the inning right here. He set the 2-2. It's a ground ball to the third baseman. It's gloved by Kniefel, and will get stroked by a couple of steps. There was a walk, but because of the caught stealing, Dunsing was able to face the minimum and finish this inning at 15 pitches. We're through 1 inning of play. Your score, the Rockets 5 and the Storm 0. And you're watching Babe Ruth Baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. Well, to describe how the first inning went, it goes as this. The Rockets have gotten up to a big lead early, and they're going to hope to protect it. As the story has been, as I mentioned a few times, can they protect the lead for a long period of time? Can they close out games? 2 straight games they lost on a walk-off after they had the lead going into that inning where they ended up losing, as Cornejo leads off with a ball 1 from Hickson, as this is his first at-bat. He's the last hitter to get a plate appearance for the Rockets in this game, as they'll take a fastball upstairs for ball 2. As 9 hitters went up, there were 6 hits, 5 runs, no errors, and they left 1 man on base. Cornejo swings and misses 2-1, as Cornejo made a great play. So really, every player contributed in some way for the Rockets in last inning. As Cornejo, even though he didn't get an at-bat, did throw out a runner at second base and got an out, which could help Dunsing lower that pitch count. It's 3-1. So that's a hitter count here for Cornejo, and he misses a fastball that was right down Broadway, 3-2. He got his fastball. He earned it, but didn't do any damage with it. It's going to be a payoff pitch to start the second inning. Hickson goes in his delivery. He comes and fires, and he misses for ball 4. Cornejo works a leadoff walk on a full count. And the lineup will turn over now for the Rockets. They're back up to the top with Joseph Green, who got the inning going with his stand-up leadoff triple that he clobbered in the right field. There's a little bit of wind going out in that direction, but he really got all of it. Hit off a pole on the right field wall and allowed the speedy leadoff hitter to get to third base with no throw. He was on third base when the relay throw finally came in. If Contreras wasn't heading that way, the center fielder for the Storm, it's a very good chance the Rockets could start this game off with an inside-the-park home run. That's just how fast Green is at the top of this order. Cornejo is on the move. The throw from Hazel is past the shortstop, Calethal, into center, and Cornejo is going to trot up another 90 feet. He's now standing on third. That will be a stolen base and an E2. And Green has an opportunity to pick up an RBI and make it 6-0. Two and 0 is the count. Hickson fires, and that is an aggressive cut by Green, but he came up empty. 2-1 as he tried to tomahawk the baseball in the right field and replicate what he did to start off the game. But it's still 2-1, so he's still ahead in the count. Hickson fires, and this is hit in the air to the right side. O'Malley is dancing with the baseball. It drops in for a hit. Here comes the runner, Cornejo. He scores. Green's got speed. He'll go up the second. And there's a runner in scoring position for the Rockets. And Green's thought about going to third, but Schmidt told him to hold the brakes. May have given Steve Schmidt, the manager, a bit of a heart attack when he looked up and saw his leadoff hitter about halfway between second and third. And that's a single, and he advances on the throw. And now Green is 2 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. Cornejo scores and with no official at bat because he walked. Kneifel hits a line shot back to the pitcher, Hickson. Hickson goes with pitcher back to the second baseman, and they can't get Green. Hickson caught it, went to O'Malley. O'Malley didn't have enough time to catch the baseball and race Green to the bag and try to double him up. And that's great awareness by Green to get back to the bag before they could get him. And that will send up Tucker Patrick with Green standing in scoring position 180 feet away. Patrick takes a fastball, inner portion of the plate, 0-1. But a great play by Hickson. Somehow he had the awareness to get the glove out, bring in the baseball before he ended up wearing it on his shirt. The 0-1. This one is a tank out to right field. Cowgill's going back. He's looking up, and it's off the reservation for a 2-run homer for Tucker Patrick. Welcome back. You don't look sick at all. It's now 8-0 after Patrick hits the first home run of the tournament, and it came at a big time to give his team a comfortable 8-0 cushion. He hit a home run in the tournament, state tournament, just past weekend, and he had COVID and has returned after testing negative yesterday morning, and he golfed out a low inside fastball, the power zone really for most left-handed hitters, as he just turned on it, opened up the hips, and sent it flying over the right field wall. It was a no-doubter from my angle, and really it looked like a no-doubter for Calgo out in right field. And the Storm are not going to have a talk on the mound after the 2-run booming shot from Tucker Patrick, as Steve Schmidt is now talking to Jesse Rhoda. And Steve Schmidt, if he can find a way to lose this lead, he may not sleep for a few nights. The meeting on the mound is broken up as Rhoda will now get to step up to the plate against Hickson, as Rhoda is 1 for 1 with a run scored, and he had an RBI to drive in Tucker Patrick, who now has a double and a home run. 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored for the 3-hitter of the Rockets. Hickson delivers the first pitch, and it's a called strike, 0-1. As Hickson went to the curveball and was able to drop it in. He comes way over the top with it, so it's really hard to decide what it's going to be. It tunnels in like a fastball. It has a late movement. Chopper to the left side. The short step. Kalitha is there. He goes to first. It's a low throw, but Strope was able to lean over and secure it for the second out. And a little bit of burnout by Rhoda over at first base as he's messed up a little bit of the chalk line as he tried to stop himself, and luckily he's okay. He's going back slowly to the dugout, and it's him being the extra hitter. He won't have to go play the field, so he's going to have some time to recover after the slight scare he had. 8-0 score now for the Rockets, who have tacked on 3 more after their lengthy top of the first when they scored 5 runs on the 6 hits. Spencer Childrub is 1 for 1 with a stolen base and a run scored, and he takes another one low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. 45 pitches now for Hickson. So now, after this one, you have to do 1 day's rest. But the Storm still have to overcome an 8-run deficit if they want to get to the next day. The 2-0. Another chopper. This one's hit back up the middle, and it's going to get through for a hit. And Hickson, he just puts his hands up in frustration as it wasn't hit too hard. That really just looked like an old-fashioned Baltimore chop off the hardened dirt that's in front of home plate. And it took a funky spin as it got closer to Brady O'Malley up the middle, and Childrub is 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Huber is 1 for 1 with the single, and he's the new hitter with the high Black Sox. And there's a runner on first for Midwest, as they may get just to play 5 innings today and save on some pitching, as they had to play 17 innings on day 1 of play. So, again, their pitching was very limited, but due to the weather and Mother Nature, they really have helped out the Rockets. So if the Rockets win this game and get to the next day of play, Mother Nature may win the MVP. She might be wearing the silver and black. Ball down low for ball 1. Now 1-1 to Huber. And Childrub will now move to second on the play. Another stolen base. Steve Schmidt's wasting no time sending his runners, trying to get them in scoring position as much as possible. There's a strike on the outside edge. It's 1-2. Looking back over to the west, it's 2-0 in the top of the third in favor of Eau Claire over Hammond. 1-2, and it's a block by Hazel as he had to slide to his right, use the chest pad. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second. 8-0 after the 2-run blast from Tucker Patrick. It sailed over the right field wall. The break-even pitch is hit to the left side, not out of the infield. The third baseman calls for it, and Cushway puts it away for the third out. But Tucker Patrick goes yard, and his team, the Rockets, have built an 8-run lead. We go to the middle of the second inning with this team up 8-0. You're watching Crown Point Baseball. You're watching Babe Ruth Baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. Bottom of the second, it's Alex Contreras.
Now batting
Or maybe I should say it the way that Pat Hughes says it on the Chicago Cubs games, Alex Contreras. But we'll go with Contreras, as that's referring to Wilson Contreras, who might be traded from the Cubs, unfortunately for Cubs fans that may be tuning into this game. But the Storm down 8-0, coming with the heart of their order, 3-4-5. Contreras, the center fielder, bats third, and he takes one off the plate for ball one. As Ethan Dunsing has gotten a lot of support from his offense. They've scored 8 runs, 5 in the first, 3 in the second. So 2 quicker numbers already up for Midwest. As a ground ball, hot shot to third, backhand by the third baseman, the throw to first. An incredible play by Noah Kneifel, as it is the hot corner, but he can handle it. And there's out number 1.
Now batting number 6, the left fielder, Logan Ritchie.
Logan Ritchie is the new hitter after Kneifel robs Contreras of possibly extra bases. He smoked it to the left side. It would have went down the left field line, and it would have been a race between Contreras and Orsag, the left fielder. But it just turns into a routine 5-3 play and a loud first out to start the bottom of the second inning. Ritchie takes a strike. It hits that outer edge for strike one. It's 0-1 with 1 out. As the Midwest Rockets are getting closer and closer, it feels like, to going to tournament play. 0-1. And there's a swing and a miss from Ritchie. It's 0-2. Looked like a good changeup from Ethan Dunsing. Dunsing goes right out of the stretch. No windup for the right-hander. He lifts his leg and goes down the mound. And called strike 3. Hits that outside corner one more time. Catches Ritchie watching it go by. And there's the second strikeout for Dunsing and the second out of the second inning. And if he can sit down Cowgill Hill here, he would face the minimum in back-to-back innings. This one would go down as 1-2-3. Here's the pitch. And there's a pop-up to the right side. Wallsmith is going to his left, and he catches it while on the run and will take his momentum back into the dugout. 1-2-3 goes the Storm. We go to the third with the Rockets up 8-0. As you're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on Crown Point Sports Network. Due up for the Rockets this inning is Peter Wallsmith, Skylar Martin, and Jason Orsag. Andrew Mild here. Happy to have you with us on the Crown Point Sports Network as the Midwest Rockets are way ahead of the Storm, 8-0, as there's a first pitch strike from Hickson as he dealt a curveball to start the at-bat against Wallsmith, who is 0 for 1 on the day though so far as he swings over the top of another curve, 0-2. He's not happy with the swing as it was a late hack. But turned out to be a nicer day for baseball. No sun, really. It's poked its head out a few times, but with all the rain yesterday, you really didn't want to see too much of that sun because that could turn into a humid type day, and it's never fun for anyone when you sit and you move slightly and you feel yourself starting to sweat a little bit. And there's a called third strike. The pitch there was able to wedge itself on the outside corner, and there's a strikeout for Hickson, and the first time where Hickson has been able to retire the leadoff hitter through the first 2 innings, and that's his second strikeout. And for Hickson, he hasn't issued any walks, but there's been a few plays where his defense hasn't really been able to back him up just yet. He's battled the best way he can, but he's on the opposite end of an 8-0 score. And there's strike one after a chopper was hit foul by Skylar Martin, who's 1 for 1, and had the big 2 RBI hit. He pokes one off the end of the bat to the right side, and O'Malley will haul in that soft liner for the second out. It looked like a cue shot by Martin towards the top of the bat, so not too much power behind that baseball, and the awkward spin caused it to land softly into the glove of O'Malley, and we have 2 outs. And there's a strike. Curveball once again to Orsag. It's 0-1. Orsag's 1 for 3. He grounded out to Hickson in his last at-bat as he tried to button his way on. He swings through a curve, 0-2. Hickson's thrown a lot more curves, it feels like, in this top of the third than he did in the previous 2 innings. And he's trying to have a 1-2-3 inning, and he gets it. A great inning by Hayden Hickson. He strikes out 2 and induces a soft pop out to second base, and it's the first time where the Rockets are off the board. Middle of the third inning coming up. It's 8-0 in favor of Midwest as you're watching the 2022 Ohio Valley Regional Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. Two and a half innings have come and gone, and it's been all Rockets thus far. Maybe this is the inning after the Rockets are held scoreless where the Storm can bounce back, and they have to do it at the bottom of the order with Brady O'Malley, Jeff Hazel, and Ethan Cushway. And look at a quick score update around Major League Baseball. Haven't had too much of a chance to look. 1-1 between the Mets and the Cubs. The Twins are up 6-3 on the White Sox. And because of some of the peanut gallery, the Dodgers and Angels play at 9:07 tonight. Of course, I'm alluding to Dirtbags manager James Hensley, who's up in the press box with us. He's PA announcing this one. He's a Dodger fan, unfortunately, and it's 0-1. This poked out the center field. This is going to drop. There it is, the first hit for Porter County. It comes from Brady O'Malley, getting the barrel on the baseball and pushing out in the center field. And that will bring up Jeff Hazel with the runner on first.
Now batting.
Clayton Kershaw actually had a perfect game going into the 8th inning until there was a double hit by one of the Angels players. The Dodgers cruised to a win yesterday against the team from the same city, which for me, I still don't consider the Angels Los Angeles. They are the Anaheim Angels. They always will be. they've gone through so many name changes. I don't know if there's been too many other teams that have gone through the name changes like the Angels. 0-1 to Hazel. They were first the California Angels when they were first started up in the 1961 season. And they were there for quite some time as California. And then they changed their name to the Anaheim Angels. And then they became the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And eventually just the Los Angeles Angels. So 1-1. And this is hit into left. Hit not too hard. It's hit into Jason Orsag's glove, who's playing back, and he moved in to get the first out for the Rockets in this Storm side of the third.
Now batting the third baseman, number 36, Ethan Cushway.
The Braves moved around a lot. They've been the Boston Braves, the Milwaukee Braves, and now the Atlanta Braves for quite some time. So I want to say about the 70s. They've been in Atlanta, defending World Series champions there. Swing and a miss from Cushway, 0-1. Dodgers and Giants both started in New York. Both moved over to California. The Dodgers in L.A. and the Giants in San Francisco. Still have a New York Giants, though. Just don't play the same sport. It's inside 1-1, but that's how they got the name, New York Giants. That was common practice back then, is if a football team moved into the city, they would give honor to the baseball team there and name themselves after that team. Like the Bears were supposed to be the Cubs, but George Halas thought, hey, football players are bigger than baseball players. Let's be the Bears. And that's really stuck. Throw out on the first is not in time. It's 2-1 still. Two balls, one strike, one out, runner on first base. There was a point where there was two St. Louis Cardinals teams. The St. Louis Cardinals baseball team, of course, and the Arizona Cardinals started in Chicago, moved to St. Louis, and then ultimately to Phoenix. Ground ball not hit too hard to short. Don't think they're going to get a double play, but they will get the out at second. The throw to first is not in time. Tucker Patrick did not scoop up the baseball. It's down by his feet, and didn't think there was a chance to turn a double play, but the Rockets made it awfully close. They got the out at second with no problem, and from what I saw, it looks as though if Tucker Patrick was able to scoop up that baseball, that would have been a double play to end the inning. And yet another inning where Dunsey would have faced the minimum. But now the Storm will go back to the top of the order with Gavin Kalitha. But, of course, the going back to that conversation, the Cardinals were in Chicago originally before they moved to St. Louis. And I don't think there's too many other instances of that. Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball to the third baseman, Kneifel, who throws the first, and he gets Kalitha. One hit for the Storm is not enough to get their first run. They're still down 8-0 as we go to the fourth inning. And you're watching the 2022 Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. Rogelio Cornejo is the leadoff hitter for the Midwest Rockets in the top of the fourth inning. His team is up 8-0. As there is a 10 after 5. We'll see if we get there. Here's the pitch from Hickson. It is low, a tumbling curveball. It goes just below the knees of Cornejo. It's 1-0. And as we went off the air in that break, I did think of another one, which I had to do a little bit of thinking, which I don't do a whole lot of thinking anyway, so that's why it took me a little bit to find it. 1-1. The Washington Commanders and their, I guess, their most well-known name, I guess that's one way to describe it, not a fun name. It stemmed from them starting in Boston as a football team and took the name of the Boston Braves. And that's what the original name was before they moved to Washington and became you-know-what. Ground ball to third. It's Cushway who's playing in. He will get it to Strope, who is at first base, and there's a first out. Soft grounder to the hot corner, and there's one out. And we will go back to the top of the order for the Midwest Rockets with Joseph Green, who's 2 for 2 with a triple and a single, and he has scored twice today. And you can't forget his RBI on his single, as it was an unfortunate play for Hickson, the pitcher, who induced the weak fly ball in the shallow right center field, but Brady O'Malley couldn't get underneath it. He couldn't get comfortable in camp, and he allowed a run to score. Breaking ball is off the corner. It's now 1-1. The Uncle Charlie from Double H, Hayden Hickson. Hickson in his windup. He fires the Green. Green takes one that goes around the plate for ball 2. Rockets were held off the board in the third as they had the bottom of the order come up. But their offense has been streaking right along through the first 2. And it's a high leverage count now for Green, the hitter. It's 3-1 with 1 out. Kneifel is on deck. Here is the pitch. And it's a ground ball on the hands of Green. And the first base umpire tried to make a play. He couldn't. It's a foul ball for strike 2. So a full count for Green in the top of this Midwest Rockets lineup. And here comes the 3-2. And called strike 3. Here rings him up. Top of the zone. 4 strikeouts for Hayden Hickson, who decided to do it himself as he had just 1 through the first 2. He has now struck out 3 in the last 1 2/3 innings. Noah Kneifel is the new hitter trying to get something going with 2 outs. He swings and misses 0-1. Home Run Derby on Monday. Take your picks. Good group of hitters. I'm going to have to say my choice is going to be Pete Alonso of the New York Mets. Not because Pete Alonso is a phenomenal power hitter, but it's because his batting practice thrower, I guess you would call him, is the best in the game. Line shot to center field, and it's a base knock for Noah Kneifel, his first. And for the Rockets, that's their 10th hit in this game. Only 3 hitters have not gotten a hit for the Rockets. But one of those hitters did get on base due to a walk. So 8 of the 10 have gotten on base. Patrick up. He homered last time. Can he do it again? Takes one just above the letters for ball 1. 1-0. Patrick's 3 ribbies on the day and the 2-run score, so he's created 5 runs for his team out of the 8. Here's the offering, and it's low, signified by the home plate umpire, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. 2 outs, runner on first base. Rockets trying to get further away and end this game a little early and save some pitching for tomorrow. If there is tomorrow, there's initial reports that it's supposed to just downpour tomorrow and be a lot like Friday. So at this rate, we should finish up by Monday. Patrick hits another one into deep right field, but this one's going to stay in the yard as Cowgill had played him back in the no doubles type defense and made the play just in front of the warning track. It was hit hard by Patrick, but no result. And another inning where Hickson puts up a 0 on the Rockets. Let's go to the Storm side of the fourth. They're trailing by 8 runs. You're watching Babe Ruth Baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. Hayden Hickson kicks it off for the Storm in the bottom of the fourth. Andrew Mild here with you. Happy to have you on our broadcast of the 2022 16 to 18-year-old Ohio Valley Regional Tournament. And here's a pitch from Dunstan against his counterpart, and he throws a strike on the outer black for strike one. It's 0-1. As the winner of this game goes to the tournament, the winner of the tournament overall gets to go to the state of Washington for the World Series. And it's 1-1 now, as that one just missed the Hickson. Went with the fastball. It's just off the corner and no outs. Just getting this bottom of the fourth started as the Storm try to mount an insurmountable comeback. But hey, we've seen wilder things happen in baseball before. I think earlier this year where the Mets were trailing by 6-7 runs against the Phillies going into the ninth and end up winning the game in Philadelphia, of all places. It's not an easy place to play. It was this new movie with Adam Sandler called Hustle, where he's a scout for the Philadelphia 76ers, down low 2-2. And, of course, I know I'm talking about basketball, but he said that the Philadelphia fans are the worst fans, but that's what makes them the best fans. That's one place I would never want to be a star player in, because once you start not performing, they come after you. They're not afraid to hold back. Break-even pitch. Hickson goes to right field. It's slicing and foul. A few feet off the first baseline. And we'll do the break-even pitch one more time to Hickson. It was Alec Bohm earlier this year, a former first-round pick by the Phillies, where he made a couple errors in Philadelphia. And as he walked away back to third base, he says, "I hate playing here." But then he went back and apologized to the Philly fans, saying that he loves Philadelphia. It's just sometimes he makes mental mistakes and pop up on the infield. Who wants it? It looks like it's going to be the shortstop, Huber, who ranged all the way to his left and made the play in front of Peter Walsmith, his second baseman, and there's the first out. For Sox fans, I may reminisce them of Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez in the outfield. There's been a bobblehead with that one. It might be one of my personal favorite bobbleheads I've seen, with Luis Robert with the gold glove and Aloy with his arms crossed, watching Luis Robert range all the way in the left field and catch the baseball in front of him. Sox fans have been waiting for those two guys to be healthy this season. It's upstairs 1-0. It's been a slow start for the Southsiders, but there's still plenty of ball to be played. They're under 5 games out of first place of the AL Central, so you can't put the Sox away just yet. 1-0. And, sometimes you have a rough start of the year, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And sometimes teams have a great turnaround after the All-Star break. It's low 2-0 to Strop, who's 0 for 1. As Hickson started off this inning with a pop out to short, which was closer to second base than it was to shortstop. And trade deadline's coming up. I'm used to the deadline being on July 31st. It's actually on August 2nd this year due to the new CBA rules. 2-1 now. Some interesting new rules to baseball after the lockout. Another fun one is that there's going to be a lottery system implemented in the draft, so you could finish with the worst record and not get the top pick. 2-1 is hit to left field. Orsag just drifted to his right, positioned right underneath it, and he makes the second out. Strop hit it hard. Nothing you can do there. As baseball can be a mean game, to say the least, as nothing you can really do if the defense plays you perfectly.
Number 9, center fielder, Alex Contreras.
Alex Contreras now up as he's the one that got robbed of extra bases. It was absolute highway robbery by Noah Kneifel at third base, who backhanded a hard ground ball that would have been pocketed down the left field line as he hit the chopper foul 0-1. But instead, Kneifel backhanded it, spun around, and threw him out at first base. But the NBA, if you're an NBA fan, you've seen what the lottery system can look like and what it can do. It forces teams not to tank. 0-1 is hit to Kneifel at third base, who backhands this one. He throws the first, and he retires Contreras. 1, 2, 3, go the Storm as we head to the 5th with the Rockets up those 8 runs. You're watching the 2022 16-18-year Ohio Valley Regional Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. Four innings have flown by as there's been no run scored besides in the top of the first and second inning for the Rockets. As Midwest, if they score 2 runs here and then sit down the Storm in the bottom of the 5th, that's it. We'd finish early and get a little bit of a break. And I think everyone would love that. And hopefully that the weather can hold up tomorrow, but it doesn't look very promising. So there was a lot of defensive changes, and I guess I'll just have to wait to get those. So I heard a lot of numbers getting moved around. And I think even manager Steve Schmidt's a little confused as he has his lineup card of the Storm in his left hand. It's a pink piece of paper. As the Storm might be just unloading their bench at this point. They're down 8, and if the game holds up the way it is, they'll be done for the season, and they have to be happy to get this far into the Ohio Valley as they are one step away from a World Series. Rhoda takes the pitch low as it's a new pitcher. Is it the same pitcher? Yeah, it is the same pitcher. I don't know why he looked different. It's still Hayden Hickson. Spaced out for a little bit, I guess. J.C. Rhoda is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored and an RBI. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it looks like he was taking it all the way. It didn't matter where it was, and that was right down the middle. It's 1-1 now. Schmidt might have been telling the Rockets to take a pitch here as they need the 2 runs and then 3 outs to end it. Now 2-1 after that curveball danced off the plate. And Rhoda's ahead. And his team's ahead. Here's the offering. And that's strike 2. And once again, Rhoda just did not look like he wanted to swing. There's a difference between having a take because it was a close pitch, but then there's that, where you have no intentions of taking a cut. And he takes a strike. Oh, he's saying it was outside. It looked like he called it a strike. It's a line drive, right field, and it's a hit. It doesn't matter what really the count is after a hit, so that's good news for us. And Rhoda is standing on first. That's his second hit. And that means that the possible 10-run run is standing at the plate in the form of Spencer Childers. Childers, 2 for 2 with a run scored, no RBIs yet, and a couple of stolen bases. 2-0 in the 5th on the Westfield. The offering is low at the plate. 1-0 to Childers. Storm and Rockets. Rockets winning 8-0. Very close to punching a ticket to tomorrow. Runner on the move. There's a swing and a miss. It looked like it was a hit and run, and it popped out of the glove of Hazel. And that means that Rhoda will get a stolen base with no throw from Hazel from behind the plate. It looked like it was good. That's a telegraphed hit and run where you swing at it at the last moment to keep the catcher behind you just to make sure that the runner will get second base. The ground ball is going to get into center field for a hit. They're going to send Rhoda home, and the throw will just be thrown to the shortstop, and a run will score. It's 9-0 Midwest. And no outs either. So
number 1, Anthony Huber.
Steve Schmidt, the manager of the Rockets, may just play to get this runner in. The way his pitching has been going, there's a good chance he'll go to somebody different with Ethan Dunsing at 43 pitches. 45 would mean he would need a day off. The ball gets past the first baseman. Going to the second is Childers, and they're going to – he's safe. They're going to call him safe as Brady O'Malley, the second baseman, can't believe it. He did have to catch it at a weird angle and apply the tag to Childers, and according to the base umpire, Childers is safe. They got around the tag, and that slaughter rule run is standing in scoring position. And the ball gets past the second baseman, and I think Childers learned his lesson. He's just going to stay at the bag he's at. Huber has an opportunity to give his team a 10-run lead. This is the first time the Rockets have scored since the second inning when they put up 3 runs. This is the first run to score since the Tucker Patrick home run, which brought in 2 for the Rockets. Strike called, 0-1. Childers gets his lead, getting held on by O'Malley. Here's the offering, and it's hit in the left field. Is it fair? It is! They're going to send Childers home. The throw from left field is cut off by the third baseman, and that is a RBI double. And it's 10-0 for the Rockets. We had the scoreboard the entire time and didn't realize I wasn't showing it to the fans, but hey, at least I had it. But there's your scoreboard. It's 10-0 for the Rockets.
Peter Walsmith.
And even though Tucker Patrick hit the home run, have a day, Spencer Childers, who scored. He went 3 for 3 with 2 runs and an RBI. And don't forget the 2 stolen bases. So doing everything he can to get his team to the next round. As the Midwest Rockets, after this game, if they can hold on to a 10-0 lead, they will get to go back home, relax for the rest of the day, and have a pretty good idea of who they'll play. And they also have a good idea of when they'll play. Walsmith now up, and he hits the one off his hands, and it's a foul ball. He wasn't going to take off until he looked up and saw the spin, and luckily for him, it went to the right, and it's 1-1. But this is the game Steve Schmidt looked for. He wanted to control it, as there's been 2 instances in this tournament, and even the way they finished the state tournament against the Hammond Hurricanes. Line shot to the second baseman, and it's handled by O'Malley, who then raced Huber back to the bag, but Huber was in there safely as he slid back in, and that's the first out. Skylar Martin is the new swinger for the Rockets, as they have a comfortable 10-run lead. Here's the pitch. That's up and in, and it's 1-0. Trying to peek over to the Westfield. Still 2-0 in favor of Eau Claire, as Eau Claire looks like they will win Pool B if they can hold on to that lead. But they've been playing some pretty good baseball. Came back against the Rockets. They won 7-0 this morning against the Storm that we're watching now, as they're down 10-0. And if they beat Hammond, the defending Indiana champions, they will be the number 1 seed out of Pool B. Number 2 would be the Hurricanes, and number 3, if the Rockets win, would be in third, and then the Storm would be one of 2 teams to be eliminated from the tournament before we get into tournament play, where it is single elimination for every game. So every game is do or die. And the Rockets and Storm are seeing that and feeling that early. As this is the first game where it really came down to who wins and who loses to move on. Because if you lose game 1, the top 3 teams make it. So you still have an opportunity to come back and win your next couple of games. 2-2. Martin hits a liner, and it's going to go left of the foul line. And the count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes to the 8-hitter of the Rockets, who's 1 for 2 and had the big 2 RBI single in the first, which would finish the scoring for the Rockets because it was 2 outs. Runner on the move. There's no play. They throw to third, and they got him. So there's the second out. As Huber was on the move, and luckily for Hickson, he had spun, caught Huber moving, and threw it to third, and they were able to get him. There's the second casualty. The 2-2 is hit to the right, and it will sail out of play close to Floyd County, who are doing their warm-ups in the grassy area between the east and the west field. We are currently sitting on the east field. The west is off to our right-hand side. Break-even pitch, and Martin swings over a very nasty Uncle Charlie, and that is the third out of the inning. But the Rockets get the 2 runs they need. They are now 3 outs away from moving on. Your score, 10-0 for Midwest, as you're watching Babe Ruth Baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. Well, it's come down to this. The Rockets are 3 outs away from ending this game and punching their ticket to the next round of the tournament. Andrew Mild with you, and happy to have you in this journey of today's tournament as it's getting closer and closer to being over.
The left fielder, number 6, Logan Ritchie.
As Spencer Childers will take over on the mound for Ethan Dunsing, who was at 43 pitches. And there's a strike to start off the inning for Childers to Logan Ritchie. For Dunsing, at 43 pitches, he was just right under the threshold of either having 1 day's rest or being able to pitch tomorrow for Schmidt and the Rockets. And it's now 1-1 in this count to Ritchie, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking against Dunsing. And Dunsing's final line score goes as this. It's up and away, 2-1. 4 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and he rung up 2. So he was efficient through 4. As there's only 1 inning where he faced more than 3 hitters. 2-0 offering is a little bit inside. It's 3-1. As if Childers and the Rockets can prevent the Storm from scoring, they'd finish it up right here. Hitter-friendly count, and it's ball 4. There's nothing to swing at there really for Ritchie as he saw first pitch strike, and then nothing went over the plate for the rest of the at-bat. Ritchie will now move up to first.
Fielder, number 7, Keegan Cowgill.
Keegan Cowgill is the new hitter. He's also 0 for 1, as that's the first time since the third, and just the second time in the game where the Storm had a leadoff runner on base to start their side. And that's upstairs 1-0, and it just seems as though Childers is having a hard time finding the strike zone, and that's not something that manager Steve Schmidt and the Rockets were hoping for, as they just wanted to end this game early and finish it up in the 5th. Here's the pitch, and it's out 2-0. Next game is the Crown Point Dirtbags in Highland. The game was scheduled for 6 o'clock. It's 5:01. There's a good chance that it will be scheduled still for that time. That would be nice. And that one's not close. It sailed up and away, and it's 3-0. Childers just can't play catch with his catcher right now. He has the hair poking out from his silver cap with the M&R on it, and ball 4. So he has thrown 9 pitches through 2 hitters. 8 of them have been off the plate. So runners on first and second with none of them in play. And the run that would prevent this from being over early is over at second. And they'll have to try to send him in with Brady O'Malley, Jeff Hazel, and Ethan Cushway, pending some of the changes that came. Let's see if there can be a strike. And Childers throws a strike. He got the inside corner. Somehow was able to wedge it in there just enough to get the call. And it's 0-1. Overcast type of day at the ballpark. Here's the pitch. And the ball is in the dirt. It gets a little bit away from Cornejo, but not enough for Ritchie to get away. And he went, so the count's 0-2. They're saying that O'Malley went, couldn't hold up his swing, and he's behind. As it was a slow pitch that ran in, and by the back foot, 0-2. Swing and a miss, that's strike 3. And Cowgill is upset with himself. There is 1 out. And the first strikeout for Childers. I've been too many in this game. Dunsing had 2, and Hayden Hickson, who battled, and I mean battled, his way through this game, had 5 through his 5. So he's averaging about 1 strikeout per inning. Just did not have some of the baseballs roll his way and find the glove of the fielders. And it's a strike inside to Hazel, 0-1. Hazel was the battery mate of Hickson today. And those 2 guys had to just battle against this Rockets lineup that did not want to end their tournament today. 1-1 now. But for the Rockets, we talked about it briefly and didn't really go further into detail. They played the Hurricanes last Sunday in the state championship and were leading that game, and they lost it 2-1 now. In the 7th inning, they watched the Hurricanes walk it off on them and take the state title from right underneath their noses. Then they took an opening day win away. Ground ball to the right. Tucker Patrick's going to go to second base, and it's covered by the shortstop Huber. Back to first, and they got him! 3-6-3 double play, and this game is over. And the Rockets win it by a final score of 10-0. Thanks for tuning in to this broadcast of Babe Ruth Baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. Always happy to have you with us on the journey, as we will have one more game for you guys. After this one has just concluded, it's going to be the Crown Point Dirtbags and Highland, the defending Ohio Valley Regional Champions. And that game was scheduled for 6, and we will update you if that's what they will start at today. This game did not run for very long. It started at 3:43 and ran for an hour and 22 minutes. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll hope to see you later on tonight for the final game of our triple header. Again, your final score, the Rockets 10